Want to save over $600 today? Want to get the plays of all 10 PickNation.com handicappers today for free? I'm talking over $600 of football action free today, no strings attached. Hi everyone, Al DeMarco here, General Manager of the world's largest online sports gambling community, PickNation.com. Right now, you can get the plays of all 10 handicappers at PickNation.com for free simply by using our one-day free all-access pass. And free really means free. Just go to PickNation.com, click on the free one-day all-access pass, and you'll get all the plays of all 10 handicappers for free today. That's over $600 of action on the house. Why am I doing it? Because I'm that confident that I've built a staff of the nation's premier handicappers, guys that can make you money this season. What better way to prove it than by giving you all their action today for free, no strings attached. What are you waiting for? Check out the free one-day all-access pass right now over on PickNation.com. Hi everyone, Al DeMarco here along with Steve Budin. This is the Pick Nation Report. We continue to motor down the NFL schedule for your Sunday card, breaking down every game from a point spread perspective. We're going to pick up more with 4 phone calls from our viewers in just a moment. But Steve, Baltimore, Tennessee, I think the Ravens played without a doubt the most shocking game last week. Shocked me because I had the Steelers in the game, so, you know, I'm just overjoyed with how they kicked their you-know-what. I mean, total domination, taking advantage of 7 turnovers by the Steelers, rolling 35-7. Joe Flacco, big game, 224 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ray Rice, first time in years, had a productive game against the Steelers, 19 carries, 107 yards. What I worry about here, though, it's the biggest thing in football, letdown. Yep. I don't care whether you're a pro or college athlete. It is a letdown. How do you possibly, after a big revenge game, get pumped to go to Tennessee to take on the Titans?
Well, you said it. I mean, every single gambler in the country is looking at this Raven line and saying to themselves, less than a touchdown. Man, this is Christmas in September, but not so fast because the letdown rule is in effect. What I would do, because I definitely can't bet Tennessee to beat the Ravens, but what I would do here is I'd look at this total, 37.5 I think I saw out there. Man, that's got overwritten all over it. I think the Ravens could score 37 points themselves.
You know, I tend to agree with you. I think this is one of those games, though, I just want to touch. You know, and sometimes the games that you don't bet are your best bets on the board, and this is just one of them. When you don't force action, and this is just one. I mean, I lean a little toward Baltimore. I could see Baltimore in a teaser, but why even take a chance on these games? I would just absolutely take a pass on it and move to the next game. That next game, by the way, we're going to talk about Pittsburgh and Seattle briefly in a moment, but first, heading back to the phones where Ben from Philadelphia is going to join us. Ben, I have a feeling you're probably going to want to talk a little bit about the Eagles and Falcons. Michael Vick's I don't know if you'd say long anticipated, but it is his return to Atlanta.
Yes, thank you so much, Al and Steve, for taking my call. That's exactly right. I want to talk about the Eagles and Michael Vick's return to Atlanta. I mean, do you guys think that Vick will still be explosive and lead the Eagles to a victory and cover their points?
Well, they're 2.5-point chalk here. You know, Vick, he played okay against St. Louis last week. I mean, only 14 for 32 passing the ball, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for 98 yards in the game. And really, you know, you look at the box score and you go, well, there's a lot of big numbers. Shady McCoy had 15 carries, 122 yards, but like 90 of them came in the fourth quarter. I mean, it wasn't an overwhelming game. The biggest thing here, and what was not answered to, I think, to everyone's expectations in game number 1 was whether or not the Eagles' defense is any better. You know, when Steven Jackson took that first handoff, and boom, he was off to the races and scored on a touchdown. It's a darn good thing he pulled his hamstring and only had 2 carries in the game. Because Cadillac Williams, a guy who's had 18 knee surgeries in his career, I mean, he comes off the bench, 19 carries, 91 yards. The Eagles couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing they did well defensively, as they always have done, is put pressure on the quarterback. I think they got 5 sacks of Sam Bradford. And here you have an Atlanta team. I mean, they were humiliated at Chicago last week. They've got to win this game.
Yeah, where is their heart? I mean, remember these teams when they played last year, Eagles jumped all over them. It was in Philadelphia, 21-0. They got out to a lead, but that was Cobb as the quarterback. You know, now the only thing bad about that is Vick is probably better than Cobb. So where do you put the Eagles now, other than the fact that Atlanta must come home and play good ball here. This is a must-win for them if they've ever had one. And it's weird, and on a week 2, we've got so many games that are must-wins for teams, but this is a must-win. And if you're following that trend and you like that trend, well, then I would say you go with the Atlanta Falcons and you take the points.
Well, you know, you hit an interesting point. It's a must-win because parity is upon us.
Right.
You know, you have so many teams that are in possible playoff contentions after 1 week. 2 losses, an 0-2 start for so many of these teams would be absolutely devastating. So that's the problem. You know, you got a 2.5-point number, and I'll tell you, you know, I'm a lifelong Eagles fan, grew up in the Philadelphia area, but I'll tell you, I think if you're going to play this game, you got to take Atlanta. I thought about the over. You know, the Eagles have gone over 8-1-1 over in their last 10 road games, but you know, that number, 49.5 points, but we probably should have a shootout here. I mean, this is probably going to be like a 31-27 game. So I think the over might even be my stronger opinion on this contest than just the Falcons themselves. But it's a great game. Thanks for joining us, Ben, for that one. Let's backtrack up the Vegas board and look at the Pittsburgh-Seattle contest. We touched on this briefly with Trace Adams back in the first half hour of the show. In case you missed any portion of the first half hour of the program, you can catch it on picknation.com and watch it in its entirety. Trace liked the I think he liked the over in this contest, which was 40.5 points. Steelers laying 14.5 in this game. Another team that absolutely must win. Seattle showed me nothing last week against San Francisco. I mean, they were down 16-0 before you could blink. Second half, Tavares Jackson had a great second half. They put a lot of yards on the board, but it was the 49ers.
Right.
I think the way the Steelers were embarrassed last week, the way Roethlisberger played with the 3 interceptions, the 2 fumbles, I mean, there's a reason the Steelers had 7 turnovers. I think Mike Tomlin's going to whip this team all week long and have them in a frenzy today.
Yeah, maybe the Steelers were supposed to wait until Game 6 to play Big Ben. I mean, just go with their defense. It worked for them last year. You know, I don't know, Al. Seattle Seahawks, probably one of the worst road teams to bet on in the league. 2-8 versus the spread in their last 10. You know, the lines makers got this game 14.5. They're pretty much begging you to take the points, making it very hard for you to lay the big wood. But I say the Steelers must come back with a vengeance here. I'm going to lay this big wood. I'm going to lay the 14.5. I think they're going to absolutely crush the Seahawks.
Yeah, I think this is one of those 34-7 games. And
sometimes you can't be scared of a big line. That's why they put those big lines out there. It's to scare you. And sometimes you got to look at a big line in the face and lay it.
No, and this is one of those cases, I mean, even extending the Seattle road woes further, you know, they have failed to cover 16 of their last 19 games on the road. That's over 3.5 years. They have failed 5 consecutive times to even come within the number as a double-digit dog as well. So, yeah, this is a bad game. Next game on Green Bay and Carolina, we've talked about that game way too much as far as I'm concerned in this program. Let's go to a better game, New England and San Diego here. Oh, yeah. We've got about a minute and a half before we have to take our next break. The Patriots, a 7-point choice. Of course, because San Diego played so poorly and the Patriots were lights out on Monday night, instead of having a competitive price of 4 points here, odds makers have put it at 7. Not to say that the Patriots shouldn't be laying 7, but an interesting game here nonetheless, especially after Tom Brady had that monstrous 517-yard, 4-touchdown performance at Miami on Monday.
Well, there's one thing we know about the Patriots. They're not going to have a letdown. Not with Bill Belichick. The other thing is Norv Turner. I just don't trust it. 0-3-1 so far in his opening road games. You know, I think that the San Diego Chargers, although they may have gotten off to a better start this year than in the past, they fall right back into their old habits. I like the New England Patriots here. Nothing fancy. Blue chip team, minus the 7 points. I'd lay it.
Yeah, and you know, San Diego suffered a couple of devastating injuries in that win against Minnesota. They lost their place kicker to a season-ending knee injury. They lost Luis Castillo to a broken leg. He's probably out 12, 14 weeks, if not for the whole season. I mean, he was key to their run-stopping ability. I think that's going to open up the running back by committee approach by the Patriots. It's always been so effective for them the past couple of weeks. I think Brady has another big game. I think this game, you know, I would lean more toward taking the Patriots straight up than I would on the over at 53.5 because, you know, this has the potential to be a 27-23 game, a 27-20 game. So I think the Patriots are the way to go. Lay the points with them and skip on the total. Guys, we're going to take a quick break, our final one of the program, and then we'll be back with more previews.